Call the meeting to order the 12th of October. Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that. All right. Signing of the motions.
We have two motions from the last meeting to sign. The first motion is 18-361, that the consent agenda be approved. The second motion is 18-362, to approve the minimum bids for the properties that will be included in the Crawford County tax sale to be held Thursday, October 12, 2018 at 2 p.m. in the courtroom at the courthouse in Girard. That's not the right date, yeah. No, October
11th.
Yeah.
Scratch that on there, Don. I'm not doing it again, so.
As these get more frequent, we'll get better at it.
Yeah, more frequent, yeah. Yeah. When's the next one?
Good question.
How many we got out there? 200?
200 properties? I'd have to count them up.
Yeah.
You're probably close.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Don.
right. Thank you, commissioners.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak today? Sir, do you have something for us?
I do, but it doesn't have to be on the agenda. I just have some information for you.
Well, I just soon like here, and I like to soon hear not going into a meeting by herself or one-on-one, so if you got it, would you bring it up?
Sure. I did finally get, I don't know if this is on, did finally get with Greg the other day. He'd been out sick for a few days, so he called me yesterday afternoon, so I was able to get a bid together. I did have some changes this morning, so I just had to mark through them with a pen on the warranty side of things. Because he did express that you guys had looking at an extended warranty possibly on the other tractors you were looking at. So I don't have an extended warranty purchased amount on this, but I do have, I got him an informational sheet the other day, left it with one of his assistants out there. So I brought that today for you guys, as well as the actual bid then, and with the options that he wanted, tractors with and without loaders. So I just have those copies if you guys want those.
Now, is this a state contract?
It is essentially from Coyote offers a state discount or a government entity discount. So that is what the bid is based on. Yeah. So this is much, this is lower than what we'd be able to sell it to a public person. What you guys want?
Yes, absolutely. We'll look at it.
Okay. Well, that's what I didn't really want to just go over it with you. There's very few
Well, we
things.
can look
But if
at
you
it
had any
and-
questions, then yeah, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I'm going to go and see Greg right after I leave here and leave him with a copy of the bid as well. He has the informational brochure, but he doesn't have the bid copy yet. I haven't been by to see him. He's also said there was a trade-in possibly that you guys, so I was going to look at that while I was here as well. And so that's not on here as well either, because I haven't had a chance to look at it and run the serial number yet.
I suppose we'll look at it, we'll talk about it, go from there.
Okay.
What do you think, Jeff? Tom?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Thank you.
Okay, you bet.
Thank you.
Zach, did you have something?
No, I asked him to come to,
Okay.
I have questions for him.
Okay. New business, Don?
I don't have any new business today.
Jim?
Yes, I do. I want to hand out a quarterly request for reimbursement.
Safe house?
Yes.
How did I know that?
Good guess. Guess I handed them all out, so. Just gonna read them out.
This is quarterly,
Request is $4,701. Quarterly.
quarterly drawdown.
Yes, this is their first drawdown for the new grant cycle for July, August, and September. And we run that through as a pass-through from state and federal.
I'll move to approve the safe house
Wait a minute,
drawdown.
Jeff, if you don't mind. Where's this $4,351 go to?
The total,
The emergency shelter? Where's that go? You know?
safe house.
Safe house.
Okay.
This emergency shelter for, you know,
Right.
It's not for the homeless or,
No, it's for their,
okay.
people
That's-
qualify there
okay.
usually because of some kind of domestic.
Okay.
yeah, for
disputes.
domestic.
Okay, that's all I need. No, go ahead, Jeff, I'm sorry.
You know what, I'll do it. I move that we grant the drawdown for Safe House, authorizing the chairman to sign.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you need Jim?
3, please.
Three.
Yeah.
Does that include one for me? Jim, okay, good deal.
Anything else, Jim?
That's all I have.
Okay. Don't believe I have any new business. Tom?
Yes, I asked Zach and John to come up today. I had a couple calls pertaining to tax value of the bacon plant as well as the dog food plant. Can you kind of tell us where they're at, if you think they're where they need to be, or just kind of your thoughts?
It's interesting that you got that because we had to.
State your name, Zach.
Zach Edwards, County Appraiser. I find it interesting that you've got those calls because it's something that John and I discussed just a couple weeks ago. With all the additions to the Triple T facility, I wasn't for sure if we had all that data correct and if we had the values in line with where we believe they should be. Looking into it, I do believe we're there. The Triple T plant saw an increase from around 3.6 million to 6.1 for 2018 tax year, and the bacon plant sits at about 2.2 million. That's only including the plant itself. They did acquire the building behind it, which they've done some additions. We haven't valued that yet. It'll be for the next tax year, but it's looking like it'll be around the $300,000 range, so they'll be about 2.5. They have, the bacon plant has protested a couple times over the last about 10 years, and that puts them about $1 million higher than what the values they were protesting to get to.
So let me get this clear. I'm trying to get it straight. We had it at 2.2, and then they appealed it and went to the state and got it lowered.
They appealed it at, it was at just around 2 million when they appealed it last, and it was lowered to 1.6. That was in 2009. They have done some additions since then, and we've got it up to 2.2. But their additions haven't been major. It's mainly been like paving for parking, and then some covered buildings for their boilers, I believe. And then a lot of the building is just warehouse. Same thing on Triple T. A lot of it's warehouse space. And I know some of the concerns have been because of sales on the Triple T.
I think that's probably what spurred this.
We can't really value that by statute based on just the sale price on that commercial building. I mean, we have to really cost it out at what it is mainly warehouse space. And it's got to be in line with every other warehouse in the county.
And
So, I mean, I know that they're...
That's no machinery or...
No, all their machinery and equipment, most of it's all exempt. I believe the year is 2006. Machinery equipment purchased after 2006 is exempt anymore. And the vacant plant just had about $170,000 of machinery equipment come off in 17. So what they report to us is that they sold it and purchased new, and then
It's gone.
it's exempt, yeah.
You can't value an individual property based on a sale that's happened. You have to look at the whole county and treat everyone in the same manner, right? It's
Right.
An average value based on
Right.
calculations you do.
And market value is the goal, but market value on residential is looked at a little bit different than commercial. A lot of, commercial is a little bit, when you do a comparable sell on a commercial property, you're basically comparing like warehouses. What's the average sell on square footage? What they're doing within that space is limits you a little bit on what you can do for value.
Yeah, very few, if any, sales to compare it to in our area too.
Right, especially
You have to
of that size.
Comparable sale. You can't just pull out the sale price of that property and use it. That's not legal, I assume.
Right, no.
But you do that on residential, right?
We build models for residential
But like you said,
using multiple sales.
what is this dog food plant? It sounds like it went up double from what their sales, what you taxed them, is that correct? Went from 3 something to 6 something?
It did. We picked up several additions that they put on.
They've added on.
They've done that within 1 year?
Well, I don't think it was all picked up when they originally did most of it. We were missing parts of it, and we got that corrected. We actually raised that value prior.
Appraisers have missed.
We had that stuff picked up prior to the sale, and we don't even actually know what the sale was because what they filed on the SVQ is not really, I think, anywhere close to what it really probably was.
What was filed, do you know? The value filed?
I can't really say.
Oh, is it not?
It's not, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But sometimes those sales that, a buyer might be willing to pay more than really market value for a property because they want to acquire that
Business.
additional production or something like that, or there might be a reason that it'd be worth less to them but the other people's ready to, or want to sell it.
Commercial really is all, it's not going to be all real estate. You're basically paying for their business.
Yeah,
How much business do you have out there,
their customer base, their,
Is that
reputation.
included
Blue
in
sky
that?
in the
John, is that included in the appraised value?
The blue sky?
Yeah.
The blue sky for us isn't, it's just real estate. That's just the build, their sale prices would be, that's,
Makes sense.
yeah. That's where it really kind of, the reason why that was higher on the dog food plant was because it did something. And we went in there and talked to them about, hey, I think we're a little bit low, as far as the value was concerned on that particular building. Plus we had the opportunity because they had added all that. But let's try to make it a little bit closer. It should be working. Because you really, it's very hard, really, you value commercial by cost and income. Where your real estate, your residential is comparable sales. So you can use those comparable sales. On commercial, we take that comparable sales and we break them down into cost that you have, price per square foot, things of that. That's where there's the difference. You don't really do a comparable sales approach like you do in residential, where you take your 5 sales and these occur, and this is how you set your value. Commercial's a little bit different, based on cost and income. And we're
So you based it on their information then?
No, we base it on our cost. Is how we value.
So basically, like something like that, commercial-wise, that's the same way that you're doing farm ground over the, you know, the 8-year average, you know, on crops and,
See that the state, the ag land would be based on 8-year average. And it's compiled by the state, by the soils that are there,
right?
where we actually do a comparison approach or a cost approach. And he'd be able to explain that better to you when we break these sales down. You can, you know, we let the, basically do the cost approach or the cost approach, and it breaks each item down where we can get value from. But he does the analysis on that.
So you go through every piece of farm ground, and this is how you do this?
Not on farm ground.
I didn't hear you, John.
Only the commercial. farm.
Okay,
The other thing we do on ag is we just make sure that, okay, you got crop, you got grass. And then whatever soil's there, that's
That's what you go up,
And then
okay.
we put the value on that. And that's it.
Okay.
And they use the income approach to value those soils. That's how
Right,
Kansas State
right.
University does that.
Yeah, I know, because, you know, it's been, you know, crop grounds or farm grounds have been going up because, and the other thing you
The
said,
ag ground has nothing to do with the value of the ground. It has, there's a formula that K-State has created, I guess, that's state law, that they're analyzing how profitable they think that piece of
That's true.
property is.
And they do
It's nothing to do
it.
with
They
how
do
much
it per
you sell.
soil unit.
Do they
Yeah.
do look at the type of ground that's there?
they do.
Soil studies and then
Yeah, sure.
I don't remember.
yeah.
The only other thing I was wondering about, you said something about with the bacon plants, they dropped,
Yeah.
or you dropped theirs down because they took it to the state?
It was before my time, even with the county.
Okay.
It was lowered back in 2009,
Okay.
and it's been working back up since then.
Zach, when John's saying our cost, that means your analysis of the whole county income.
We don't do I don't do a county cost study. We use the Marshall and Swift cost values,
Okay.
which is recommended by the state unless you want to do your own. I would say that probably 90% of the state uses Marshall and Swift.
Which is what? What is Marshall Swift?
They do cost analysis nationwide, and so they put them out for the region.
So you're
it's
using a regional value for a warehouse space or whatever type of
correct.
space? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You do, see, and you probably have to decide for the whole county, what method am I using? And that's the method you've chosen to use.
We decide to default with the Marshall and Swift for uniformity with surrounding counties, our area of the state, and it's time saving for us. We do tons of analysis as it is, and to throw in a cost study on top of that, we don't really have the time and personnel to do such. I would like to, if to see how well it really compared, but it still comes back to being able to get that information from local builders and suppliers and see how accurate is our data, who's willing to support that and defend that at the state level if we have to go. So it's better to follow the Marshall and Swift, I believe.
That way you're treating every business in the county the same.
Uniformly,
This is what we use.
correct, yeah.
They're pretty much nationally recognized service
Yes.
for that kind of data.
Yeah, yeah. It's the state defaults, they put it into our system for us even. They do it statewide, and then you have the option to change it if you do your own local studies. And we just elect not to do that. And I believe the county's been that way for quite some time.
Okay.
All right. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Anything else, Tom?
The only thing else I may have is, I haven't seen a report on, how's the casino doing, Jim, at week? Where we've been running? It's been 3 or 4 months. It was pretty good last month. I remember with that.
It's a good question. I think the one that we just received a couple days ago was in the $26,000 range. And before that, Don will have it here in a minute. I think looked at the last couple of months before that were at 28.
It's pulling pretty steady.
Seems like it, yeah.
There we go. So, yeah, September it was almost up to 30,000, little drop for October. We just got that a couple days ago. But, I mean, it's well above what we,
200,000?
yeah, we put like 200,000 into our budget. We didn't want to be high at all.
Right.
We didn't want to even be close to being too high. And we, you just don't know what could happen next year, where those are going to go. So you definitely don't want to depend too much on those and have the bottom fall out of it for some reason. That's, trying to look for revenue other places is hard to do.
How many months is that?
That's 10. So 290, that's average about 29,000 a month. Basically, divide that 290 by 10.
Yeah.
About 29,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been up and down. You can see there's a little more March and April in there, and even May. Then summer, I think a lot more people are out doing things outside and stuff. It kind of tails down. But
Good. All right, well, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Carl?
No, the only thing I'm gonna say, I talked to Bobcat yesterday, and he's trying to get the price on the head, and I told him that I'm gonna protection around there when they're doing the grinding. He said they can grind up to about, the ones that they sell is about 6 inches. I haven't got back with Justin over at John Deere. When I'm over there, he's not there, so I'll try to catch him over the weekend or first of next week.
Yeah, actually, Greg came up. I don't know if we want to continue to talk about the tractors, wait. I'm not sure if we need to do the skid steer at the same time.
The skid steer can come later. Only thing, I just want the agreement, or let you guys know that we need one for these bridges. It don't have to be in this package. So,
Would there be any benefit?
no.
I mean, there won't be another discount or something?
I doubt it very seriously, because I think they're as low as they're gonna go on the tractors. So, I just think we need,
The cold planer, what you're talking about is milling.
no, this here is for getting on the bridges. It looks like a big, you know that one we went and looked at over there in Montgomery County that was on that big tractor, on that big track hole? You know, we went over and seen how they clean. This here is a smaller scale to get around these bridges on both sides. You know, there's underbrush where we clean, like the power plants, or like the power companies has got.
Actually, I don't know, have you gotten the quote from Justin on this skid steer? Okay, I have that then.
So,
Sorry, I should have given that to you.
so
I just
that
got
means
an
maybe
email.
he's avoiding me then. Looks like I'll have to have a little talk with him. That's okay.
he may
There's
not
literature
really be
here.
avoiding you.
He's quoted a cold planer for grinding
No,
asphalt.
we really need one of them too, but they've been borrowing Pittsburghs. So, you know, that's one like, what do you quote, a 24 inch? And Hecker
I
has one.
really haven't looked at this.
Okay, Hecker's the one that we use his too, but yes, it's something that we need to, but what I'm talking about is one that you grind up, you know, trash and like say up to, you know, like 8 inch, 6 to 8 inch trees and stuff to get underneath these ridges and on the inlet, that outlet side. That's what I thought we was talking about.
Am I looking at this right, Jeff? They're willing to give us $21,000 for that Kubota?
I saw something in there. I have not talked to him. I just got this on the email and then asked to listen to Craig.
Well, I'm gonna talk to him about on this skidster. All right, I'll get both sides together, or then we'll look at it and see. But Bobcat's telling me we need, I think it's like a 730, need the high flow for this attachment on the front, the brush guard, you know, around the windows and be plexiglass.
That would be,
Where did you see that?
good safety feature. Page one. Push one of those big grinders and there could be
Yeah.
stuff flying little ways.
So, you know, just get under that. Trash, not trash, but that.
You got it.
Brush. You know, clean
I
it
must be
out.
looking at the wrong.
That does a good job and grinds it up. Because we got 238
Leave
bridges.
it, then you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about.
Then if it does slow downstream, it's
I guess I don't have that.
Here, catch and start stacking up.
yeah, I mean, right. This way here, it just keeps building and building. And don't either want to let the water in or the water out.
Be handy, especially around them bridges.
Oh, yeah, and that's something we could put a guy on.
They
Or
have
two
track
people.
on.
Could be tracks. But,
21,000 seems pretty good on the Kubota.
I thought it looked good too. I wouldn't give you 21,000 for it.
how about the other two on there?
I don't think he was
Too
willing
low?
to give anything on the other two. Greg, do you have anything for us?
I guess Dennis has given you the information on the coyotes. I haven't seen that yet, but
Here, you can have this one.
I've got kind of a pamphlet, but I didn't know prices or anything.
Did
but-
you have one?
Okay. I don't know, that's up to you guys, but we are familiar with the John Deeres and we've had good luck with the ones we've had in the past, so I guess my recommendation is that for the value for your dollar, the long term, I'd recommend going with the John Deere. I like them. I think the price is about as good as you're going to get on anything, like I say, with that governmental discount. So that's really all I've got to add to it.
You know, Greg, it might be worth taking a look at this.
I've looked over
I don't know if you're, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, I've looked over the pamphlet that he had. He left one down there for me Tuesday.
Okay.
But, and be truthful, my son owns one, so I'm a little familiar with it. I've been running it some this summer.
Okay.
But, like I say, as a total return on your investment, I think the John Deere will resale better and just last longer. We've had that Kubota for quite a few years, and it's done okay, but I don't think it'll last as long as the John Deere's.
So this John Deere's,
The M model, I
61?
think.
oh, that's the
6110.
E there, yeah.
Yeah, there's an E model that's, what did he say? They were going to be $4,000 or $5,000 cheaper than the
10.
other. 10? Okay.
That's what I think he said.
I knew there was a difference because they don't even take the same loader or something. The frames are different.
21,000 traded on the Kubota.
That sounded like a pretty good price because if I remember, I looked back and I think we gave like 44 on it, so. But it hadn't got that many hours on it. It's only got like 4,000 hours on it too. Or some of the old John Deeres we had on side booms that we've used forever, we've got 10 to 12,000.
Okay, the M, the 6110 M is 82,000. 300.
Does that count the, how much on
82,000
the EM?
on the M.
Is it with the protection too, Gary?
Yeah, 3-year, or no, it's
Additional 37.
4-year, 4,500.
So this isn't the one we're looking at here.
No, that was confusing me too. That's the E.
The E, 65,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big difference. 17,000 difference.
Seemed like Justin really thought the M was a lot better
Yeah, and like I say,
match for what our usage anyway. I mean, but also it's more money.
the transmissions are a lot heavier, you had a option with a heavier PTO, heavier frame.
Oh, this is the E is what went to.
Yes. Well, take another meeting and think about it.
Yep. Because I'm looking here for that M, like I say, I got the E,
Yeah, I
There's the end.
a separate. packet on that.
$86,048, but, okay, that also includes the,
Loader.
no,
No.
protection plan.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see where you're at.
86,
Yeah,
65.
$36.95 for that protection plan.
Yep. Which I think is a good deal.
Yes, with the DEF and all the new technology and everything, the electronics can get into pretty expensive stuff real
Greg,
quick.
is one of the AGCOs, is it running? Is that right?
Yes, one is. We're working on the other one, trying to get it torn apart.
You're opening up the other one to look at.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're not in dire need of renting a tractor at the moment, but
I mean, growing season's
not
almost over,
how
so,
tall you want your grass or, yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, we'll,
Anything else?
I'm gonna throw this
think on
around and
that?
let you know.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank
Derek,
Yeah.
Jeff, we was talking difference between the M and the E, 21,000. 65,460 for the E, 86,048 for the M.
Is that the protection plan on both of them?
Yes,
Okay.
36.95.
Yeah.
I think, but you're running, you getting caught up?
I don't think so.
I think we're
I
over
have
there
to
too.
check, but yeah,
Probably not today.
it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do?
All right. Let's look this stuff over and then.
Something else I might bring up, we haven't got all the pickups back in yet that we were going to sell on Purple Wave.
That's correct. I was going to ask you about that. Blair's truck is going over Monday to get a new seed pit in it, and he is driving Cannon's truck. And have you got the other two pickups in?
No,
Okay,
I've got
so
one.
we need-
Jeff,
so-
we were
So I
going
need
to
to
trade
get
in
you-
that old 116, or sell
Okay.
Purple Wave, that
I'll
old
have them get it up there.
116.
So next week, when that truck comes back, and then we'll get that stuff out of that mowing tractor, the mower's truck, and you'll have it probably by the end of the week or the first of next
Okay,
week.
then I can call Purple Wave and we
Yes.
can get
Have the-
get
You
rid
got
of
yours
that.
ready to go? You got a truck?
Jeff's been in since, yeah,
Is
it
there-
came
is there a
in
truck in?
the next day, yeah.
Is that Dwight's truck or?
Yes, it was.
Good.
They left it and ran.
Yep.
Something sounds like.
Yeah, it barely made it in. But, yeah,
It's
I'd like to get
yours.
that stuff listed.
Yep,
and-
get it ready.
And also, I'd like to get rid of those Schulte mowers, the old ones.
I disagree. I think the best one we should keep in case we get a more.
There's not a good one, Carl. They are, I mean, literally falling apart. If we got scrap price out of them, I'd be surprised, and I
That
really,
bad?
yeah. We've welded plates on top of decks so many times that there's just nothing left.
I mean, the original parts left on it.
Not many, no.
Because like that John Deere mower, I'm not real pleased with it because we got the guy's done a super job, but I just don't think it's that good of a mower.
So those Schultes right now, you couldn't hook on to them.
Could, but I don't know how far you'd get.
I want to keep one of the best and rob it because we get a mower goes down like the situation in right now. Because you've got a new mower, you got a new one and a used one, and I got the John Deere.
There's two, right, that are
Yeah.
two Schultes?
Yeah.
Well, let's put one on Purple Wave,
Okay.
whichever one you think.
Or rob one off the other one.
Yeah,
and get
that's
it-
what I said,
get
you
it
put them
back.
together and get a decent one.
No, like I say, hell, there's no metal left on them. I mean, it's just the,
That's why we call Greg Net Max.
We need to.
we have Yeah, I mean, there's, the gearboxes might be all right, and the tires would be the only thing that'd be worthwhile on them. Everything else is,
Let's just wait till this winter and maybe a winter project. We, can, out of the two, get one and sell the other one.
okay.
That's what I want to do.
All right, anything else?
Nope, thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Have a good weekend.
All right. Carl, did you hit?
And I was,
That was you, but I jumped in. Do you have anything else? New business?
I forgot. Since you better in, I forgot. No, I don't have anything.
Don, old business?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that meeting I went to yesterday on that regional wastewater study. Do you guys still have copies of that
let's just have another
proposed
copy.
contract from Earl's Engineering? I always think that sounds like somebody's first name. I realize it's his last name, but I thought it just sounds like, you know, Bob's Engineering or something. No, just the, but Earl's Engineering there, that we basically it was myself, the Frontenac City Administrator Brad Reams, their Mayor Linda Grills, Darren Hall, and Jay Byers from City of Pittsburgh. Frontenac had people from Kramer Engineering who have always designed their sewer system there, and then a representative for City of Mulberry, their city attorney was there. Anyway, we discussed, mainly we were going over that scope of work, kind of. Let me hand you out, I made some notes here after the meeting, what kind of was discussed there. One of the things I brought up right off the bat was that on that scope of work, on the second page, about maybe a fourth of the way down there's a item, I think it's 2-4, whatever, it talks about reviewing additional areas currently without sewer. And that's one of those areas I know Carl's had a concern about people out in the county that are on septic systems or some kind of their own lagoon system or something like that being forced to hook on to something like this. And they said that really is just to kind of identify some areas with concentrations of homes that might be hooked on in the future, that they don't have any, it's not their plan, it's just to make sure that they have enough capacity in that system to be able to handle some of those places if they would form a sewer district down the line, you know, and decide that they want to hook onto there. You know, what KDHE decides, that could be a whole different story, but I mean, I think as far as the study, they're not looking at making recommendations about these homes need to be hooked up to this sewer system, just to say that there are some spots out there that are, you know, maybe adjacent or a few miles from that area, like a Radley or some places where they have a concentration of homes that could be, you know, in a few years they might decide that's a good fit. Anyway, I said talked about the main focus was just to determine the needs of the local communities and make sure that they're ready for industry, you know, over the next, you know, 30 to 50 years, so they have facilities that would handle, you know, industry expansions or new industry. So anyway, there was a question about item 2-2, which is right at the top of page 2, that review and future industrial growth based on economic development and information. Somebody had a question about where that information would come from, and I think they basically would talk to, you know, the cities and the county and look to see if they have any, you know, industrial parks planned or anything like that might be happening in the next, that they know of anyway, in the near future or distant future even, to make sure that they're aware of anything that might be about to happen, so that they kind of include that or make allowances for it in the study. Said there, Tim Fielder is the attorney for City of Mulberry and for City of Frontenac. He was there, but he said, they'd asked Mulberry and Arma had originally kind of talked about being included in the study, and they kind of would, but they said they really don't have any money to contribute towards it, which the engineers said they would probably estimate maybe, ballpark figures of what it would cost to, put in lines to pump sewage from those places into wherever that regional, wherever they think there are the best spots for that regional wastewater plant, and, what the lift stations, approximate cost for lift stations and stuff like that would be needed. But then also, I guess we were wondering how that would be, if it's a separate entity, if it's not owned by City of Pittsburgh or City of Frontenac, or how would that be kind of organized? And the engineers in that study are supposed to kind of see what's in state law as far as, would you set up like an independent sewer district, kind of like we have, to operate that, and then charge, the municipalities for treating their waste or whatever? You'd have to figure out how that all would work. Would it be just done by, like contracts between the entities or whatever? So I don't know what's out there in statute, and they weren't sure either. But I think as part of that study, they were going to review statutes and talk with KDHE about, options for that. And it kind of basically got down to the money, how to pay for it, which that $195,890 was what Earls had estimated for the cost of the plan, with 80% to be paid by KDHE, which would leave $39,178 to be paid for by local entities. New wrinkle in that was that Sugar Creek has agreed to pay $20,000 of that, so that brings that down to just $19,178 to be paid for by us, Pittsburgh, and Frontenac.
Don, at one time, Monica Mernan had stated to me that she thought there were some additional funds out there that may pick up the remaining balance of that.
I think KDHE kind of alluded to that earlier as a meeting. I think that was that meeting that Adam Lusker and Monica and some other kind of orchestrated. I wasn't part of that. Although there is a conference call this afternoon with some people from the state, which I've got information. Any of you, I planned on, it's 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I've got the information on how to log into that conference call and be part of that. And I think that could be where we have some more definite answers about state's participation in that.
Is the state going to give information on this, Don?
Well, I
Or
assume.
is this it's question and answer, or just listen?
Well, I think it'll be interactive. I think it'll be, question and answer. There's a copy of the emails that I've got about it. It started with Carrie Weefald, who says, as an agricultural marketing director with the state, I'm I'm not exactly sure. It didn't really say what part of the state bureaucracy he actually works in, but it's going to be, you know, I think just to kind of.
So Don, this here it says, gentlemen, will they have this regional wastewater plant and study? It's Thursday for a meeting in Frontenac at 9 a.m.?
That's what I went
you
to
went yesterday.
yeah.
Okay, and now where's the others is at 2
Down
o'clock?
on the
Okay,
second,
got it.
yeah, on the
Gotcha.
second page,
Okay.
turn it over, and it's got the first email, and that's, you know, like I said, it's from that guy from the state with the call-in number and the participant code, so you
The
can
state's
get.
interested in seeing this happen. I assume for marketing agricultural food processing type businesses, which is what Sugar Creek is.
Yeah, well, I mean, those can become markets for your local producers. I mean, really, it's having a.
Heard that discussed related to economic development because we have a good water supply, which is important for that type of business,
Right.
food processing. So,
And that's what I guess from what Earls was talking about, the states, well, and I think it's from EPA actually, that it sounds like the ammonia levels that are going to be allowed to be discharged into whatever body of water you're discharging into, usually some kind of creek or river, those ammonia levels are getting screwed down a lot, so that a lot of plants are going to need to be upgraded. I mean, it talked about in Earl's thing, I guess there are for cities under 3,000 in population, they have waivers that they can apply for. Of course, Frontenac's right at that level. Pittsburgh, I mean, would not have a chance of getting one of those waivers. So they're looking at, it's something they may need to be improving their systems to be able to meet those requirements anyway. So maybe they can, do it together, cheaper, than two separate plants. And then they talked too about I guess there's a lot of, I mean, we're concerned about infiltration from rainwater and stuff. We've been concerned about that for years out on the West 4th Street, and they talked about, maybe using some of those, like the lagoons at Frontenac, to capture, storm runoff, stormwater in those, and not trying to keep it out of the wastewater stream, so you're not doing emergency discharges into streams of actually things that need to be treated. And so some of those current facilities might be used as almost like a stormwater detention pond, basically. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and I'm not a wastewater treatment expert or amateur even at it. But I think it's something that sounds like, to me, I don't know, that it seems like we need to kind of understand what may be the best course of action down the road. The study's the first kind of step in that direction.
how did they select Earl's engineer?
I do not know. Was that City of Pittsburgh or?
Because other entities are being asked to contribute to this.
No, I'm not going to say it.
But we had
Two
to
and two equals
who's
5.
doing this, the study, right?
I do not know.
And that 200,000 or 100, whatever it is, that
195.
195 is that's a tremendous amount of money for a study. State pays 80%, so state tax dollars will work, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna listen to this today.
But I think it's needed. I'd like to see
Yeah,
something like this happen if we're going to continue to grow, so.
and yeah, being ready, if we've already got facilities in place down the road for Sugar Creek to expand or for another facility like that to move into the area.
This is what it's going to take.
Yeah, this is the first step there. I know it's
I have to have some kind of clarification on some of this, and maybe today when I listen here today on this here, but
well, it
this
sounds like
is all the way kind of, the information you give, which I'm not doubting you, is a lot different than when Tom and I went to a meeting. So
it sounds like they probably will be working to further define the scope of work. And
like you say, you got $195,000. So I know that's grant money, but
I would like to know the process taking to select Earls.
yeah,
To be honest, before I would be interested in the county contributing anything.
I wonder if we could get someone up here to explain that to us.
I might just email. I mean, really, the
if you want to know, I'll tell you in executive session if you want to know.
I'd be glad to contact Darren and Brad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll move we go into executive session.
Just take 5 minutes.
Commissioners, council, county clerk,
Yeah, you can come in, Don.
under Attorney Klein.
Second. Aye. So Don, would you be willing to contact the city and see if they could come
Yeah.
discuss this more with us here?
Well, I'd be glad to bring that up with that. I'm not sure who other than Brad, maybe and Darren at Frontenac, and then say, you know, what was the selection project?
Selection process for
Earls
the engineer.
as the
Like to know
engineering
that.
firm, and then I will definitely be on this conference call this afternoon. And like I said, I'll have it on the.
Do you want them here,
conference
Jeff, or do you?
phone. So, but it's like I said, with that information, you could pull it up from any. You can pull it up on your cell phone. You know.
That's when you're planting beans today.
Yeah.
Or just let him find out if you want to.
However they want to respond, I guess. We'll leave that up to them. If they want to come, that's fine. If not,
All right.
I'm not sure where we're at.
Yeah.
Was that old business?
That was my own business. Yes.
Anything else, Tom?
No, I mean, we got, we're in the process of getting ballots ready to mail out next week. Next Wednesday, of course, is the first day. There was a great spread. I sent a press release to the paper a couple days ago, and it was the top story was, you know, voter registration coming to an end Tuesday.
I seen that this
October
morning.
16th is the last day to update a registration or register to vote. We've had a ton of activity in that area. In advance ballots will start going out the next day, the 17th, Wednesday. We'll have advance voting in person here in the courthouse starting that day from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. every day, every weekday until the day before the election, November 5th at noon. We have to shut that off. But then we also have early voting October 30th and 31st at the Homer Cole Center from 10 to 6. Then November 1st at Pitt State at the Overman Student Center from 10 to 6. And then at Meadowbrook Mall on Friday and Saturday, that's November 2nd and 3rd, and from 10 to 6 as well. So I encourage people to vote early if they can.
Early and often.
Just in
right?
case, not often, but just early. But once, you know, something happens on election day and you can't make it there, you don't have a makeup day for it at that point. Anyway, that's all I have.
Don, did you talk to the Attorney General again about the questions we talked about on voting and most people that register to vote or change of address, how long they had to live there, and if there's multiple people in the same residence, are you still going to go with that program? It's like if there's 4 people vote out of the same household, are you going to?
We're going to run a report to try to identify households with like more than 4 registrants. And I mean, we have to accept those registrations. If they're registering at an address claiming that's their residential address, unless we have some kind of information, well, if it's not a residential address for one thing, something like that. But other than that, that's, of course, they're swearing an affidavit when they fill that out. They're committing a crime if they're using a false address to register. And there are a lot of checks in place after the election to try to catch those things, which is what our current Secretary of State has prosecuted a few people for double voting and for voting, at incorrect addresses. But
What kind of punishment is there for that?
it's generally a fine.
Fines.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them like $500. Mostly, it seems like, I don't know, I'd have to look back, but it's been a while since I read about those, but there have been like 7 or 8 in the last couple of years that it's generally is voting in 2 states at the same time. Some people have voted in western Kansas and Colorado. They live close to the line and have property where they can register in both states, Kansas and Missouri, across the state line.
Don, my daughter goes to college in Illinois. She's registered here, so we just get her an absentee ballot and send her. She can
That's
still
correct.
vote in the Crawford County races.
She claims that as her permanent address, and
Yes.
that's, there's a lot of, I was kind of rereading our voting standard, election standards, and, talks about it's the address you intend to return to is what they talk about, and that is, sometimes people are living temporarily in other places, but and especially for students, that are away at school, they can decide that they rented a house in Pittsburgh or whatever, and they're living there, they're paying utility bills or whatever. They can re-register there and show that as their address. And
I guess they have that option.
yeah, we cancel their registration at their former address. They are supposed to give us that information. On the other hand, a lot of them do not, and we send ballots to students in Manhattan and Lawrence that are kids who grew up here, and still are using generally their parents' address as their permanent address and where they're registered to vote, and that's considered fine as well, as long as that's the address they intend to return to. Now you get into some kind of gray areas there, and but there are checks in place to make sure people aren't registered in multiple places, especially inside the state. The ones, that interstate cross-check system that we run our records through every year identifies people who could be registered in multiple states at the same time, although a lot of times we don't have enough information to make sure it's exactly that person. Usually name and birth date we have, and there'll be a match on that, but there are sometimes when you start digging into the weeds on that and it's not the same person. Yeah, they have the exact same name and same date of birth, but there was one in Kansas and one in Missouri, at different places. We get a list of those names in our county that pop up as a possible double registration, and we call the local election officer wherever they live. It shows us what county in Missouri they live in or whatever. We call those offices and kind of get into more the information that they don't want to use all that information out there to process those records because of the potential for it to get hacked and people to lose personal information, which actually I think happened. On one of those systems, there were like several thousand people's personal information exposed to hackers. So that's the other risk. You can start shipping, database information out for somebody to compare it to. You got to make sure it's secure. But anyway, yeah, they'll let them know that if she hasn't applied for an advance ballot yet, go to that ksvotes.org website is the best place to do it, and she can sign up right online, and we'll get an email with that request the next day, or within just a few hours actually. It comes to
Then you send it.
my email address, and then we process it, and we'll mail the ballot out, on the 17th, or on the, if it's after the 17th, on the next business day.
I will let her know that. Thank
Okay.
you.
That's all I have, though, for old business.
Jim?
I have a couple items. I know the answer to this first one, but we've got some bond issue money that is sitting in a bond issue account that I just need to have permission to move that into the equipment reserve fund. I don't need a motion or anything, but is that acceptable?
Move it where? In the equipment
To your
reserve?
county, into the road and bridge?
Okay.
Yeah, it's road and bridge money.
Is that off that bond we paid off?
It's off of the bond, yeah, for the road work.
Oh, okay, I got you now. Okay, that
Yeah.
50-some thousand.
About 59.
Yeah, put it in there.
Road
Yeah.
work, we paid
Yeah.
for it, now the bond
Okay.
Yeah,
issues
thank you.
Here's my other item, and
reimbursing us.
brought this up Tuesday, and Randy was here. Thought he might be back, but he's not, so. I'm gonna hand this out again. It's that local road safety plan. It's an agreement between KDOT and the county. And the idea of it is that they go out and look at your roads, and they present you a plan at the end. And I think that the benefit of it is to, when they come out with more funding, that if you have a plan in place, you'll be eligible for that funding over a county that doesn't. That's the way I understood it. Is that what you guys
90%.
understand? It's 90%. As you knew from Tuesday, our amount is up. It's on page 3. Number 4, financial obligation. They're looking at us in combination with 19 other counties. That's a 90-10 match. Our part of it's $5,043.93. So if we want that to happen, we would need to sign off, and I think within 60 days, we have to deposit that amount. "60 days after the execution of the contract."
And this in here went up roughly $1,000 from when Randy and I first went on this, right?
Yes. Right, when he was talking, he thought it was gonna go down.
Yeah.
But it ended up going up, so.
I make a motion that we sign this agreement.
Second. That's got to go to KDOT to be signed
KDOT will
by
sign.
their-
Yep. There's a seal on it too. 3 of them, please.
I'll get those sealed after the meeting. That's-
It's Don.
sure he gets it.
Okay, anything else, Jim?
That's all I have.
Okay.
One thing, the nuisance list on the codes court, I asked Troy to provide that, so
That's pretty handy.
hopefully you guys got that. I really haven't looked at it. I have a bunch of information here on the Silverback project. I think these as well.
Was there any mention, Carl, of Pittsburgh meeting on this?
Yeah, they got up and talked. That's about all Bill Strink did, you know.
Yeah, I read what Bill said.
Yeah, I think there's something.
You want me to go look? Over
Yeah, you might ask Alyssa. There should be an email from Frank Young, pretty thick. I guess it didn't make it over here. I think Alyssa put that together. So I haven't really looked at all this. It was all sent to my email the last couple days.
We have Frank coming next week, next
That's
Friday.
the other thing I need to bring up. Frank was indicating he has another meeting on the 19th. He would prefer to come on the 16th. So, seeing if that's acceptable.
But we don't have
Supposed to
I
ask.
don't think we have meetings 16.
They're gonna be gone to, are you going to Tennessee? too?
Oh, that's right. I'm not planning to go to that.
I'm not either. So when's our last date on that?
Well, the 25th was when it was heard at City of Pittsburgh, so 30 days.
30 days?
After that, August 25th, excuse me,
The 26th?
October 25th, you'd have a Tuesday meeting, the 23rd.
23rd.
Prior to that as well.
Okay. So can you come
Go
on
on
the
the 23rd?
Yeah, can you
Okay,
come in?
I'll ask.
Okay.
The other thing he was asking, he's been communicating with an engineer from Earl's Engineering. That fellow asked if we would like him to come as well.
Nope.
I told him I would ask the other commissioners, so.
Frank's our contact person. I believe in there. Unless Frank wants him, but, you know.
Yeah, let's see what Frank wants.
But I feel.
I think he's okay either way.
Let's just have Frank here.
Okay,
Let's see if we get
I'm
him on.
fine either way.
But I'll tell you what, if he cannot come on the 23rd, we will call a special meeting on the 19th to see what day he can to change
How
the
about,
meeting.
I'd like to get it lined out, because I know there'll be public that'll want to be, can we call him call Frank on the speaker and just
Sure.
line this
Right
out?
now?
Yeah.
I'd like to get it
You
taken.
got a phone number?
Yes, I do.
You talk to him, Jeff, because you know him better than us.
Okay.
Just put him on here then?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I'd just like to get it taken care of. 620-768-9178.
768-97. Is this just for ag engineering? Or is
This is cell phone. Hey, Frank, this is Jeff Murphy.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, we've got you on speakerphone with all the commissioners here. We're trying to line out the date that you're going to come back to talk to us about the Silverback development. I guess the 23rd is not good. We've got a Kansas Association of Counties conference.
The 16th.
I wasn't tracking that.
That's the 16th.
On this, I'm sorry, the 16th is not good. And you said the 19th was bad for you, right? You said you had a surveying meeting?
Well, they've got a 2-day meeting in Pittsburgh. I could possibly leave for a while and come over and see you guys. I was just on a different day, I could probably stay longer.
Okay. Well, the 23rd would be our other option. So is the how's the 23rd work?
Okay, so the 16th's out, next Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, the 23rd would probably be okay.
Okay.
If you want to do it that day, we can do it the 23rd.
Okay.
I think we have to.
I'll just be there at 10
we're up
o'clock.
against
You
our
want
getting
that
down
as
to the
a
wire.
backup?
Yeah, I mean.
That's what we were talking about. That is that our decision? We don't want the Earl's engineer. Well, I guess Frank, do you want him here?
Well, he offered, I think they're trying to answer all the questions they can. I think he's a pretty, it's not Pete Earls, it's another one of his engineers. And I think he might be a contribution to the discussion. He's actually the designer that's supplying me with all this information. I'm sure they're just trying to help their client. They think if they show up and might help you guys make up your mind a little easier than me being the go-between.
Frank, would the 22nd be better for you than the 23rd? Because, you know, we only have the 26th as our deadline on this, of saying yes or no, but where's this got to be at on
25th, actually, that's the deadline.
25th
That's the
deadline?
deadline.
Yeah.
We'd have to do something the 23rd, or 23rd.
This is all the emails from Frank.
So can we change our meeting and have you here on a Monday, the 22nd?
I'll leave that up to you guys.
What?
I don't think I got anything.
You want to do it that, give us an extra day there?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Hey, we'll change our meeting and do it on the 22nd. And that give us an extra day to think about. And as far as them having a representative here, I'm not in favor of that because, you know, they'll sit, I mean, I'm not going to say no more, but I just send them not be here because you're the one that we contracted with, and I feel that you should be the one talking to us and not these other people.
Frank, can you think this
You're
time?
considering moving meetings around. You want to look at the 18th?
Let's see, they'll be gone the 18th. They don't get back until,
No, we
You-
get back to 17.
okay. How about we do the 18th then? That'll give us time.
Yeah, I
Jeff?
could be
Yeah.
in the morning.
I don't have a problem with
18th. My deal doesn't start until about noon. That day in Pittsburgh, and we'd surely be out there by then.
Okay, can we start at 9 o'clock? We'll have to make it, that way we know
Yeah.
for sure we got your 3 hours.
Yes, that'd be fine.
That okay?
I'm gonna do it
Yes.
9 o'clock, the 18th,
Yes.
and then decline his offer to come in.
That's how I feel, and there's 2 more here.
I'm okay either way. I mean. it
I
doesn't
am
matter
too.
to
I don't
me.
know. I mean, we can't hardly tell them not to come, though.
No, it's a public meeting. They
Right.
want to come, but I feel that,
Well, I mean, may help get some questions answered, maybe that.
If there's something
that come up, I
Frank
don't
can't
know.
answer.
Well, he's been real good to answer the questions I've given him, but if you guys, in the course of looking at this that day, came up with another question or something, he would actually be there to give you his answer.
okay. Like I say, it's a public meeting. We can't keep him from a public meeting. If he wants to come, so be it. Because
He won't do that unless he's invited. So, I mean, they're all assuming they could, and if you don't, it's not.
Nope.
They're real good.
I think it might be good to have him here actually if we want to ask questions. So.
That would be the only reason I would want him here is if there's something, Frank, that you need some clarification on that maybe they can do it.
Hey Frank, what are they proposing for the pipe coming out of the detention pond? Do you know?
Well, I don't have that right in front of me, but I think it's a, runs down the east side of Silverback Way. It's a 48 inch.
Okay.
And pipe coming out of the detention basin is smaller. I'm thinking it's 24, but I need to look here in a minute to put that up on the screen. I'm right, got another board summarizing what I'm saying.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, and this is a copy of the emails I've gotten from Frank, between Earls and Frank.
I'll try to get that put together and get it to you so you can make your copies for the meeting.
I went ahead and made them copies of the emails I'd gotten from you, so they have that.
I would caution against sending or handing those emails out during your public forum because they've got all our email addresses on them. I'm basically taking those emails and I'm putting them in a report to you, so you could hand that out and it's all in. I wouldn't say it's totally private information, but I kind of hesitate to pass out other people's email addresses for public forum.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, actually.
I'll clean my report up so they can be handed out.
Okay.
Okay, here I go. There's two pipes running into that 48-inch pipe. One is a 21-inch concrete pipe coming out of the detention basin. The other is a 36-inch storm drain that parallels Silverback Way from the north. And that is a kind of an overflow pipe. Get a little better that it, whenever you get a huge enough storm that it kind of floods out the stormwater system going into the detention basin, it's left this pipe, the inlet's a couple of feet higher than the main inlet into the detention basin. So if it, water gets flowing too deep in that big pipe, then it overflows into this 36-inch, tries to get a little bit of relief going on downstream. They've got those two pipes down into that 48.
That's what comes in.
That 48 goes on down and comes out in the middle of the box culvert under the road. You know, on the Silverback Way on the south.
Okay, that's coming out of the pond?
Yeah, there's a 21-inch comes out of the pond and dumps into the 48 going on. The 48's the main stormwater drain for Silverback Way that goes on down. Then they got another like a 42 coming in from the south that's into the same box culvert. The pipe going into the upper end of the detention basin is a 54-inch. That's a pretty good sized pipe.
Did you run numbers on that to see if how that was sized, or do you know the 54 coming in?
Yeah, he's got a hydrograph. If I forwarded that to you, Jeff, it's under hydrograph. And what he's calling the primary outflow is this 54-inch, and the secondary outflow is 36-inch from the 48. But as far as, he hasn't really presented me with any drainage curves on that detention basin, like y'all will take it to run down and stuff like that. Trying to get a little more info out of him on that.
Okay, I didn't think I had seen that yet.
Now, I haven't seen a page actually on the detention basin. I've got pages showing it being there on the side, just a corner of it, but I don't have a don't have a design page on that detention basin. I did ask him for that yesterday, so he's putting something together.
So what size of storm is the system designed for?
It's designed for a 25-year, 24-hour storm.
Okay.
It's about 6.8 inches.
So their stormwater drain should carry that storm? Or is that just the
4
pond?
inches supposed to carry the 25-year storm. If
Okay.
it's bigger than that, it's going to overflow.
And then
There's
the pond's supposed to hold that storm and slowly drain it out through that 21? Is that the,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And if it doesn't hold that storm, it's supposed to have some kind of emergency spillway, but I haven't seen plans in that yet, where that water's supposed to go. That would be for like a 50 or 100-year storm that's going to run around the dam, emergency spillway, just like some of our other storage units would. Except it's a clean water deal, so it should be able to help with it. I think most of your city stormwater systems are on 24-hour. We could use 6-hour on some of ours, but most of the city stuff's 24-hour storms, so they're a little bit bigger.
That seems, a 25-year storm seems like a pretty high rainfall level for that system. I wouldn't have thought. Is that normal on these stormwater systems? 25-year on storm drains or not?
I guess I don't know. Pittsburgh's got that in their rules. I didn't research their rules to know where they come up with 25 years. I think he got it designed as a sediment basin for the 25-year storm. Maybe he's came back to that and just think of it.
I had it in my mind that like a 10-year storm was more of a normal design on a stormwater system.
That's about all those people can afford on these parking lots and stuff that we've been doing. I think 10 years is what they kind of revolve around. But I think on all our pollution control stuff, it's usually 25 years. I think they picked that up so we can design the sediment basin. See, this detention ponds also is sediment basin for stormwater pollution control. And I think it has to hold 25 years. I think that's very good. KDHE, I think that's his rules. I think they're just like the livestock ingredients. They're 25 years. Anything coming out of Department of Health probably going to be a little bigger. But I think you're right. That's pretty good protection for just the stormwater system without a detention basin. That would be a little bigger than they probably try to do it. I think in order to handle his sediment control, he's trying to double up on it with the stormwater basin and give it a 25 year.
So they would install the stormwater system first before, I guess, would that be normal? That way it can handle all the construction runoff?
Well, because they're starting this thing at the lower end, their phase one's actually the southeast part. That's the first thing they're going to build is kind of start at the bottom of the hill, work their way up. So yeah, they're going to have to install this in order to carry on and move on north and west. They got to start at the bottom of the hill, work their way up. So I guess that was their plan all along, was to do this phase one first, which is the eastern half to the third. It's a little bigger than the third, I would say. Start from the southeast corner and working their way north to the development. They'll have to put the stormwater pipes in because they're all over the streets. You got your storm inlets right there coming out from the paved streets. They're not going to put them in at the time they're building the
Okay, all right. Well, sorry for quizzing you so much. I was just trying to figure out what all we got, so.
It's good to have you there quizzing me, because questions you gotta think of before they can answer them. They are not putting in lay-down curb. They're using stand-up curbs, which work a lot better for stormwater runoff. They're kind of a little bit of inconvenience. People build a house because they can't just drive over the curb anywhere. They gotta go ahead and put their driveways where they're told to instead of where they want to. I think that was a city request. I don't think Pittsburgh likes those lay-down curbs.
They have them anywhere around Pittsburgh.
All right.
All right, well, thanks, Frank. We'll look forward to you on the 18th.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock, Thursday. Your voice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, that's what I'll try to set up,
Okay.
you guys. All right.
Bye. So, just to clarify, the 19th, will we still have a meeting, or?
We're going to move it to,
Okay.
cancel that and move it to the 18th.
So cancel the meeting on the 19th, okay, I just we'll need to announce that to make sure we get our announcements right.
Right.
We're starting at 9 o'clock, Don.
Right.
Yeah, 9 a.m. It's the work session, I guess with the regular meeting to follow at 10 a.m.
Well, no, we're just gonna start the meeting at
We'll start
9.
the meeting.
Start the meeting
with
at
it,
9,
yeah.
no work
Okay, so it's
session.
not a work session,
No.
it's just
Be
a
a
regular
meeting.
meeting, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Any business,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, I don't have any other old business. Tom?
No, sir.
Carl?
Yeah, I'm looking at this nuisance list here. We're so lenient on this, I don't know why there's not more teeth in this here.
Yeah, I haven't heard much action on it.
There's
That's why I was
nothing
asking.
going on. Like this
for
one, I'm
updates.
gonna read here, I'm not gonna mention the name. As of August court date, the nuisance was somewhat cleaned up, but not to the county standards. Okay, shut him down. For this reason, the owner has paid a fine of $120, big deal. And reinspection of the property will be done at a later date to see if needed to be come back to court. Where are we at here? I mean, we're just jacking around with these people and they know it. This one here's on page 2 at the top. And that one there, because I've got neighbors, it's in my district, I got neighbors to the west of there, has pulled my campaign sign 3 times because I feel I haven't talked to him, but I'm going to talk to him because nothing has been done. We've been jacking this about ever since I've been in there. And we went in there once and cleaned him up, and we're still jacking with this guy. So, hey, tell me what's wrong here. Either we need a different judge, or that judge's got to get teeth, or whatever it is, $120. I'm sorry, and I read some of these other ones. We're just jacking around. We've got to mean business with these people, and we're not meaning them. If you want me to read another one down, dilapidated house on 4th Street in Jeff's area. They took out 1 dumpster because this woman has been contacting me. It's no better than what it was when I turned this in August. So.
Yeah, on that one, they've torn down the house, but they haven't cleaned it up.
They haven't cleaned it, caught on fire.
She's supposed to be back next
But we
week.
give them a building permit to come in there.
Yeah.
So, like I say, Codes Court, they're laughing at us. And until you get Biden this here, they're just gonna wait you out. Give them another 30. You don't give these people that kind of time. And especially that one over there that I'm talking about, the top on that page, or where these people is with this fire. That fire was back in March, and it sure made the collapse.
Well, I know that, but it just got into court, I mean, and they have torn it down, so that was part of the deal. It needs cleaned up.
You want to see if Troy can come up?
Nah, I'll hear the same thing, I'm sorry.
And yeah, he needs a refile on that one.
These all should be, and given these lengths of time, no.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Troy come up.
Okay.
Don, could you see if he can come up? Okay. Yeah, let's take a 5-minute recess and we'll keep discussing.
Stay on.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Troy, I think we're wanting to go through the nuisance list and talk about the issues and just get an update from you.
Okay.
We'll skip around here. I'll start it off. We're talking about the one on the second page at the top. I'm not mentioning no names or nothing like that. But, and I'll just be right frank with you. We got this set up. We're not doing nothing. You keep on, or say the county keeps on giving them more time. And you find him $120. No big deal. I mean, and then if it needs to come back to court, he should have been back in court, or he should have been fined heavier that day when he was here the first time, because you know it hadn't been cleaned up any. I've been by there, and I got the neighbors to the west of there is terrified about it. We've been jacking with this. We went in there one time and cleaned him up. Now we're back to the same old stuff again. And Troy, it's not right. And while we're at it, can I take the one on 4th Street, Jeff? It's in your district?
Yeah, I'd like
Okay,
to know what's
the one on
happening
4th Street, the guy burned out. We give him a building permit. Then they took 2 dumpsters out of there. Sure, the house is probably when they was tearing it down. That should have been gone. That part was in February or March, and the neighbors and the people is racing Cain about it. It is not right. So they're laughing at us on this nuisance court deal. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. We need more teeth. We need it faster than what's going on. So this old bull giving another 40 or 45 days. And like the one on 220th there, well, yeah, this car don't belong here. Hey, we're pulling that dirty sucker out of there. And so it's a joke.
Which one was that one? The last
So
one?
the last one was on 220th.
Where's it at on here?
What page, Carl?
Oh, let me see if I can find it down through here.
I mean, as far as
I'm not mentioning no names or
No, that's fine.
specific. It'd be on the second page, 1, 2, the third one down.
Page. Okay. As far as the first 2, I mean, once they get to court, I mean, it's the judge's decision at that point. So.
Well, we need to be stiffer.
Okay.
Because it is terrible, and you know, I hate to say this, since we've had code court, I don't think we can say we was 100% with it, that got something done, full 100% walked away from it. If there's one, we can go down on another one here, 2 of them here. I get calls every day, and again, I'm not going to mention where they're at. You know where they're at. You get calls on them. Then people call, what are you doing? There's trash all over the place.
Well, Carl, some of it depends on how what our
Right.
rules say, because
Exactly.
just minor
So I was
small
gonna ask
things
Jim,
don't apply. You know,
is
you
there-
can't-
Well, this here,
I don't
okay,
know where, it's hard to know where to draw that line.
Well, I mean, some of them, we've got to have, appliances, we've got to have stuff that's, you know what I mean?
Okay, how about debris when there's trash stacked up there at the driveway and a wind comes and blows all over their neighbor's yard and everything else, and you look at the rest of the structure, and you know where I'm talking about. There's 2 of them right there, almost side by side. They're maybe a quarter of a mile apart. It's constantly the same thing over and over again.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do know.
We'll go out there and they'll pick everything up, pick it all up, and then
No,
it's
they
back.
wait. Listen up there. They don't pick everything up.
Well,
They
the
pick it
one-
up
if it's the
enough
one
to
I'm thinking
satisfy
of-
some people.
If it's picked up to what we've told them to pick up, and then it's, and then like I said, then a few months and it gets messy again, and then we tell them to pick it up. If that's, I mean,
But we need to find them or what? I don't know what it is, Troy, but
I mean, if we go out and just write tickets on it, then I mean, yeah, we would, but I mean, we have to basically take them through the
would you give them
process.
30 days and then we go to court another 30 days? Heavens, it's 6 months before we even get them anywhere, and this is not what codes court should be about. Buddy.
I guess my question is, are we following the proper protocol that we wrote?
Where is the nuisance rule?
It's not in the zoning. It's
It wouldn't be
got-
in that, it's separate, yeah.
The ones, and like I said, I've talked to Jeff about this, the ones that, there's the ones we run into all the time, but there's also the 6 or 8 that we've had that we've never had to do anything with because we threatened the codes court and they cleaned it up. I mean, that to me, that's a win, because some of them I
I'll tell you
couldn't
what,
deal
you
with them
emailed me
before.
them once we got 100% successful rate.
Yeah, I will.
Email them to me.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them because I don't know where
Because I
they're
mean, like, so we've had 2 or 3 houses tore down that we couldn't do anything with before. We've had people mow their yard.
That, I know that one on 4th Street. I agree with you there because I've seen that.
Yeah. Jeff had another one tore down, over by Beulah.
Beulah. Yeah.
Like I said, we've had some 2 or 3 yards that we've dealt with over the past 4 or 5 years that they're mowing their yard now, so that's, I mean, same tenant.
Oh, and while we're on this here, Jeff, again, it's in your district, I heard about the other day, is on 196th Street, off of 4th Street, west of Lone Star, right there on the curb. I was at a place the other day, and the guy asked me about it, and I said, you know, I've turned that in. I'm almost sure Jeff's turned it in. The grass is still high like this.
Is
Now
that the
we got
one-
squatters living there.
The one north? They go north of,
Well, you go north on 196th
and then
Street.
right as it curves.
Right
Yeah,
there
we
at the
just,
curb, there's squatters living there now in a car.
well, the people live there. We just we sent them a letter back in, I don't think, like July. They mowed their yard, picked stuff up, but now
Well,
it's
the
got,
way I understand, they didn't pick it up because the shingles there, and they couldn't mow the yard because shingles are there.
well, when I checked it, they picked it up, but we got a call yesterday about it, so
I don't
I
think
contacted them again. So,
they're in a good situation. I don't think they have
They're
a
not.
lawnmower. I remember checking into that.
yeah, like I said, they ended up mowing the yard and
hard to
cleaning it
know.
up, but it's, yeah. Because it's owned by a company out of like Dallas, and they've got some people that live there, basically, that are local.
So that one basically needs mowed?
No, it needs mowed. They need a haul. They got a couple, last when I looked at it yesterday, they've got, you know, like a washer and dryer and stuff out there. It needs picked up.
Is the shingles picked up?
I didn't look. I didn't see shingles.
Okay, the shingles are right next to the house, according to what this person's told me. I haven't been by there, but I go to these places and I'll say, well, I'll tell Jeff, because a lot of people don't know where my district is from Jeff's, and that's fine, because Jeff don't get over that way that much.
Is that 776 North 196? Is that what
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
it.
about? Okay.
Yeah.
It says abandoned automobiles on that.
Yeah, they had like 2 or 3 cars, and then they had some trash out in the yard the first time we went over
But see
there.
there again, 2 or 3 cars. What's our limit?
Three.
Three.
Yeah, so they have three cars that don't run and one that does run. They're within
They're
regulation.
within regs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what can you do if they're within regs?
There's nothing you can do about that. But just the other way, it's just,
And our grass height is what, 6 inches?
12 inches.
12, which that's,
Yeah,
most people are going to say that's way too tall.
yeah. And that's if it's less than a 3-acre lot, basically. If you've got a bigger property, then we don't.
Don't have
You could
to.
hay it or
No,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, hay it or farm it.
Let's see. Troy, there was a house on Main Street that I've mentioned. Is that on the list?
Was it
With Randy Vallela?
Delap or was it someone? There was one on the corner they were fixing up, but they haven't, like I said,
Yeah,
give
but-
them some time
Been
to fix
fixing
it
up for about 4 years.
Okay.
hey, Jeff, that way they don't have to pay taxes until it's completed.
I'd like to see that one on. That's true.
Okay.
I
On
do
the
see
list.
on the first one that he is going to court next Friday.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to go last month, but he didn't show up, so he wasn't able to make it. He was supposed to come this week, so
Oh, yeah.
hopefully.
And then there was one, Troy, north of Gerard.
The house, yeah, I
Did that-
didn't put it on here, but it's, yeah, I sent them a letter out last week when you told me
Okay.
that one. Yep, sorry about that, Jeff.
Well, you sent him a letter. That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't put it on
So
there.
how many do we have on the next coach court, you know?
I've got 3 total. 2 are coming back, and then 1 is the new one, so.
Okay.
Looks like we need about 20 of them on there.
So,
I'd say the biggest frustrations I've had so far is even just getting them served, because most of the people that I'm dealing with, they're not just nuisance people, they're people that the sheriff's department deals with or other areas, so
other problems.
when you try to serve them, they're never around, you know, and they don't come to the door, so.
Who
that's-
are you using, Troy, to serve him?
I was using the sheriff's deputies, but I've started using Troy now, and he's been happy to do it. And he's,
Troy Bastian?
yeah, and he's kind of a bird dog. Seems like he finds them no matter what. I mean, he found that one for next week, so.
Good.
So this one in Chicopee was fined $120, but there's going to be another inspection.
Yeah, like, what does have to start the case over again, and then next time they'll jump up. What's it, Jim?
Final, yeah.
The fines go up higher.
And the clock will start again.
Yeah.
Then again, it'll start again.
Can't
But
be
that
a,
fine is spelled out as the second.
Yeah, it's spelled out. And I
violation will
think,
be
I mean,
higher.
I can't speak out of turn here, but I think the judge is going to see that and not, you know what I mean? I don't think she's going to give the time like she did before,
No.
because they're already a repeat offender. I mean, basically, they come to that first thing, they say guilty or not guilty. If they say guilty, then she'll fine them right then. If they say not guilty, then they get another 30 days to
They get
come
a
back.
court date, it's 30 days out.
30
yeah.
days out, so.
So there's always going to be 30 days.
30-day lapse between each.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we had 2 houses in Farlington, I know, but we're
Yeah,
having
one
trouble
of
finding
them's
the
dead. I
owner.
can't find anybody to even get a hold of that one. And that's, Carl had one over in Opolis that was supposed to come.
She's called me a couple of times and
She's-
singing the crying down. I said, no. But
Have you, the person that we've sent it to's called you?
twice.
Well, give me a.
Well, you know, I'm sick and all that. Hey, you've been, she's
one-
an older lady.
The one with the little store?
Yes.
Well, give me a number, because I can't get her served. So,
She's in Wichita.
Yeah.
yeah, because I can't even find her.
That's where the taxes go.
Well, but anything I send out there comes back. So, we're gonna have to send.
If
The
you can't
sheriff
serve
department-
somebody, then they
The
Yeah.
sheriff department, they won't let him in the building.
get processed.
There's a 1 square block there.
Really?
This one's been sold, hasn't it? Cleaned up.
Which one's that?
That I can't tell you about that one.
I think that's where they're building the deer processing.
Oh, yeah, it has,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's-
That's gonna,
Yeah,
yeah.
did I not
That's
update it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clean now. And that's another one that we didn't have to do anything with. We basically, it's sold, but still
Okay.
it's got demoed and cleaned up.
So what does the nuisance say, rule say as far as trash or debris?
It's kind of spells out a few things, tires, batteries, appliances, household trash bagged up, that kind of thing.
We can cite on that. We can
But
cite
what-
somebody
What
for that.
amount? I mean, if it's just,
Well, it's kind of a judgment, but I mean, if you got any amount of, if you go by 1 week and there's trash bags, you go by the next week, they don't have trash service, so that's something you would cite, basically. So if they, if there's, you can't just have trash sitting out on your,
it lasts more than a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
we don't give a time frame, but obviously if it's just sitting out there, because we'll run into places to where they got trash in a back of a truck, or like an old broke down truck out there. And obviously they'll say we're going to wait and go on free dump day or something, but you can't,
A lot of times it's not trash, it's more household
yeah.
stuff.
Just like
Yeah.
the one there, we say it's toys, all that, but it's just terrible. Like human nature, if you have something stacked there, you go by there again, you have something, you just throw it there too, so first thing you know, you got a pile of everything.
Well, at least we're tracking this and taking action on all these different ones. I think that's much improved from what we were doing, so.
We just need to get in there and show teeth and get it done. And that's it. Just like that one on 196th Street there. The guy hit me about 6 months ago and I thought it was taken care of and hit me again the other day. So I wouldn't want it by my house.
Nice.
I got 2 of them now. Not too far from me.
We'll just keep pushing, Troy, that's all. I mean, I don't know what else we can do.
Get after them hard. Just 30 days and another 30 days. Well, first thing you know, 6 months and nothing's ever happened.
That's what we wrote.
Well, let's rewrite it.
When they get into codes court, it's the 30 days, it's not guilty or not guilty, and then it's 30-day trial date.
So let's use the one that is supposed to be cleaning the house up. That's been last,
So she came in, said not guilty. 30
Gave her a
days.
trial date.
30 days to do it, and then in that 30 days, they basically got a
so
lot
that's
of
60
it.
days.
And then the judge gave them
So-
until this court date to have it cleaned up, or they'll be fined, and then she said she could go back and find
And
it.
$120, I thought we was going by the day. We're just going by the.
That's up to the judge. She can't go.
Well, I
by
think
that.
we better, the prosecutor better talk to us, increasing fines, get them taken care of.
Yeah, we've got to set fines in the
Yeah, we
code.
do, but I thought it was per day.
She can't award per day.
Well, we better lean towards per day, because it's terrible. That's just how I feel. I think you need to sometimes go out and visit with the neighbors, these ones that we got the complaints on, and let them give their opinion, what they think about it, because I think we hear it quite often ourselves, which I don't mind hearing it.
Is the codes court publicized or? in the newspaper as far as who's being served or how?
No, I mean, we don't, it's public record, but I don't know, and then, I mean, I guess
It's in the
public.
court. It's actually in district court, yeah.
Yeah.
District court records on
Well, if the neighbors wanted to have some input at that hearing, they would have
Yeah,
to
I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know
be
how that
notified
works.
somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's normally done with this.
Well, most time, there's no, they don't have to notify them because my cell phone rings, you know, every 2 weeks wanting to know where it's at and what's going on, so.
Well, they have a right to know.
Oh, no, I don't disagree.
That's what we got it for.
'Cause, I mean,
it's
that-
not being done.
They know the court date and the next day I get a phone call saying what happened, what happened, that kind of thing, so.
But could they come to the court?
Yeah, I mean, I think
it.
there's.
They could, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a person calls you what's being done and say, hey, we're having a court date this certain time. I will notify you 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and you're more than glad to come.
Yeah.
When's it held? Is what?
Third Friday of the month.
Third Friday.
Third
We'll have
Friday of each month?
We got one next Friday at 1 o'clock. Yeah.
I just think we need to move faster. We need to get out of first gear and get on this here because
Get it up here,
We-
we could videotape it.
we got a lot of these here that have been on there since day one we started Codes Court. And do send me a list of the ones that we have accomplished. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
You mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah,
I've seen them, but
I've
I'd like to see them.
taken some pictures of them too.
No, I don't need pictures. I just need the addresses.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you, guys.
Troy.
Thanks,
Thank
Troy.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Carl?
No, sir.
Okay. Future business and announcements, October 18, 9 o'clock, Mr. Frank Young, Ag Engineering discussing Silverback Landing Development Project.
That's a regular commission.
That'll be a regular meeting, yeah.
9 o'clock. The October 19th meeting, County Commissioners is canceled. October 16th, Board of County Commissioners is canceled due to all 3 commissioners attending the KAC conference. Any other future business or announcements?
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.